Daddy, I'll hold your hat.
No.
Oh.
When we get back, I'm going to slap your mama.
Okay, that's some Smokey and the Bandit, but I might just edit that out anyway.
What's going on? It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Snow on the ground. I have a rifle in my hand. So, you tell me. I think we're going hunting. Isaac is sick, but I'm kind of forcing him to come out with me. Not that it takes a lot of force right now, but just in case, you know, anything bad were to happen, I brought along an emergency supply that should help the situation. Simplify. Things happen in the woods. What happens in the woods stays in the woods. I hope. You don't want to be bringing that back. No. Right now we got permission from a landowner to hunt his hayfield and for deer, and Isaac and I have come over here to this round bale haystack. I'll show you. The tricky part here is going to be that we have cattle in this field and some other dwellings on the outside of the property. So this is really good for Isaac actually as a beginning hunter, because he's going to have to weigh shooting lanes and what is safe and what is not. So hopefully deer will come out tonight. We've got about 45 minutes left to light, maybe an hour. We'll see what happens. Well, we got skunked again. There was deer on other fields, but not on this one. So we'll keep trying.
Hey, why are you whispering? There's no deer here.
That's a really good point, actually. It's a force of habit.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. We'll give it another try. We just had like 5 or 6 bulls run right in front of us. But we are horseback. And Isaac couldn't get an offhand shot quick enough before they went over the hill.
That was intense. Into the trees.
We had bull elk. There's an elk right there. Well, we got elk, but they're 800 yards away. We got like 6 or 7 bull elk that ran across in front of us, and we got off the horses as quick as we could. We both kind of met at the top of the hill at the same time, so we didn't have any time to prepare for it. But they didn't give us a very good shot, so we watched them come into the timber up here about 800 yards, and now Isaac and I have kind of gotten into that timber, and it's a good bed ground, so maybe there's something in here. The hard part is that the snow is so crunchy, it's hard to snake. Isaac almost got a shot at a bull elk.
Almost. Good times.
Okay, so we went over the ridge where we'd seen the elk last, trying to circle downwind of them. And when we got to the back side, we found a trail with some fairly fresh tracks in the dirt. See, in this region here. And they seem to be going that direction. But we don't know for sure if it's the elk that we saw or not that have come through here. So, this is a fairly small patch of timber. We're trying to decide right now, do we go back up this trail, back towards where we saw the elk last, in case they bedded in there and didn't even come this far? Or do we assume that these are the tracks of those bulls that we were after, and follow them that way. Do you have a coin?
No?
Let's flip a rock. You pick one. Flattish would be good. Okay.
There's a flat side and
a frost side.
there you go.
So we got the frosted side and we got the non-frosted side. You call it.
Frost or non-frost?
Yeah.
Non-frost.
Where did it go?
It's right there.
What is it?
It's the flat side, so the non-frost.
Well, what side goes where? Okay, flip it again. Okay, frost side, we go back up the trail towards where we saw him last. Non-frost side, we go the other way. Go ahead. Non-frost. Can you see
Frost.
it? It's frost?
Frost.
So we're going back up the trail. You gotta hunt scientifically.
Yeah. Expert. Level expert. It's a good time.
I like to put a close-up on your face just because it makes things awkward.
I got one question. Does this vest make me look fat?
No, your face does.
I don't plan on falling down there.
Well, we are riding out. Hopefully we can find something on the way out. Should be some deer down here. We're pretty confident there's no elk up where we were waiting, so we didn't see much point in staying up there. Isaac's second time riding in the hills. He's doing pretty good. It's been some pretty steep stuff today. Really steep going up and pretty steep going down, but the ground is frozen, so it's kind of slick. So it's a good experience for Isaac. He's doing good.
Do you have your crosshairs on him?
Yep.
Wait, bigger one. Oh my gosh.
I see him.
Do you see the big one?
Yep, on the left.
Yeah, wait. Wait. Breathe. Now.
He jumped.
I saw him jump, but I didn't see him fall. He just killed the first deer.
Right on.
Isaac, what just happened, man?
Just shot my first deer, and Clayton says it's a toad.
All right, he looks pretty dead. Oh man, that's a good shot.
Son of a gun.
So, first things first, you got your deer dead. Awesome job, by the way. Look at that shot. Can you put your finger right where you hit him? Perfect. Awesome, awesome deer. But now, you've walked up on your deer. First thing you do, you get your tag out. When you're tagging an animal, the law says that the tag needs to be with the largest portion of meat. If you're going to quarter the deer, then you would put it on a hind quarter. We're not going to quarter this deer, we're going to pull him out whole. So what I would do is I would just tape that tag around the base of one of those antlers. Okay, now that's your first responsibility as a hunter, you got to get them tagged. There you go. Now come up here, grab your esophagus, then there you go. Now your right hand might have to go in deeper, kind of behind the lungs as you start to lift it. And you're just going to start lifting straight up and walking back with it and ripping it out. Yep. Perfect. So just get deeper. It's not that grody. Just start ripping and pull backwards. Yep. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All the way out. There. The deer is dressed. And now we just got to get all of our stuff picked up. And Isaac has just dressed his first deer.
Nice.
Good job, bud.
Go big or go home.
Alright, so I'm teaching Isaac here how to care for his deer after he's killed it. He already field dressed it himself. And now we're going to go through the process of skinning it. So one of the things we're going to do is take off the legs at the knee and the hock joint. And I'm going to show him how to do that with just the knife. I'm going to do 2 legs and show Isaac how, and then he's going to do the other 2. So to remove a front leg, you find the knee right here where the joint is, and you just cut right into it. And then follow that line right around the side of the joint, making sure to cut any tendon. And then on the back, cut in as far as you can, work the knife around. There we go. And you'll find that the leg, once you've cut all the way around, just pops right off. Now the hind legs are a little more tricky. This is called the hock joint on animals. Right at the bottom side of the hock joint, there's a little knob here. Kind of feels like a knuckle. Find that knob with your thumb, and then put your knife blade right on the very top of that knuckle and cut in. I'm going to switch hands here. And your knife's not going to go in very far because you're right in the joint. So then you go around the back, cut in as far as you can on the tendon, go around the front, cut as far as you can in. And like I said, on the outside, it's not really going to go in very far, but you want to cut anyway to cut that little connective tissue. It's kind of thin right here on the outside of the joint. Now this works for elk, moose, you name it. It's a little harder on the bigger animals, but the same principle applies. Once you make that cut around that joint, then you simply just use a little leverage and break it off. Then you might have to use your knife to touch it up just a little bit. There you be. Isaac's turn. There you go, just cut into it. Okay, now go around the side. Now Isaac's using a serrated knife that Cutco used to make. I don't know if they still do or not. A lot of people don't like serrated knives for this, but in some cases they work pretty good. Okay, so now cut the bottom. Perfect.
Voila.
Although, when you start working on an elk or something like that, you're going to have to put some twisting and some rotation on it just to break the joint. All right, now the back one. This is the tricky one that even seasoned hunters have a hard time doing. So you might want to take a knee. It would just be a little easier once you get down there.
What was I looking for here?
So here's the hock joint, right? Now follow it down to the bottom. Feel this little round knob?
Yep.
Okay, on that round knob there's a little divot right in the top. Barely perceivable, but there's a little bit of a divot on that knuckle right there.
Yeah, I think I got it.
If you put your knife right in the top of that knuckle, right here, and then just cut into it. Like I said, it's not going to go in very far. There you go. And you're going to want to go straight perpendicular with the leg. Okay, now cut around the front and the back, those big tendons. Okay, down the back. And then on the other side, on the inside, I guess you should say. Make sure your top is cut all the way through. You want one continuous cut line through that tissue. All right, now go ahead and get your knee under it, and you should be able to snap it right off.
Got it.
Excellent work. All right, so Isaac has just learned how to take the legs off of a game animal that he's harvested. Now we're going to skin it. And in the interest of time, because we're going to run out of light, I'm going to use my cheating method. And you'll see what that is in a second.
That was awesome.
So that makes the skinning job go a lot faster. It was a little slower this time because I was demonstrating, but that's quick. Okay, so we have got Isaac's deer hung in the barn here and cleaned him off with the hose and cut off any excess crusty, nasty stuff that we made on our first incision last night when we gutted him. So after we made sure everything was clean, we got all the hair off, got any grass off. Now Isaac will be taking him to a butcher. Isaac's not going to delve off into meat cutting this year. He's going to let a butcher do it. This is Isaac's finished product. After all that work, all that hiking, all that hunting, he has meat for his freezer. Isaac, tell me about some of your impressions of what's happened.
So I like getting out. I'm not an outdoorsman per se, but I like to get out. I like to get in the wild, go hiking and stuff like that. So getting to see wildlife within a few hundred yards. I was thinking, it's like, what was cooler? Seeing 5 or 6 bull elk running, 150, 200 yards away, or shooting the deer. Now, that's an easy one, but not really, because those elk, seeing those had my heart pounding like nobody's business. But they're not in the freezer.
And he was a nice buck. I mean, that was a cool experience. And you worked for him because, we hiked around in the mountains a lot. We rode miles and miles. We ate lunch in the mountains quite a bit, a lot of mountain houses, and spent some time stalking animals and really learning about what hunting is about. So I wanted you to learn how to hunt ethically and legally, but most importantly I wanted you to kind of get an idea of what hunting is versus just killing. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd never thought about the ethics of shot placement and taking something where you risk maiming an animal that's just going to be walking around the forest for hours or days just maimed, and the responsibility behind that, which is something I never thought of before.
Awesome. What about your thoughts about meat? And now that you've harvested an animal and you've cleaned it and you've dressed it and you're standing next to your carcass of the whitetail that you harvested, what are your thoughts about meat? Has it changed your perspective at all?
Well, I mean, I've always been a carnivore, and proudly so. But you know the saying, everybody likes sausage, but you don't want to see it made?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, because this was pretty cool. One thing that I thought of was the respect that I have for the people that were the pioneers in this country, that they had to farm and they had to ranch and they had to go out and shoot something to eat, and all the work that it had. I mean, this is cool to have in my freezer, but I can go down to Safeway and eat if I wanted to, you know, go down to McDonald's. But they didn't have that, and they had to do this, you know, all the time just to feed themselves.
Right. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. It's been a lot of fun to be part of this. Thank you for allowing me to follow you around with the camera and make a video out of this. I think it might help some people, and if nothing else, it'll be a fun memory for us.
It helped me, and I had a blast, so thanks, Clayton.
You're welcome. Good job.
Thanks. Dear Jesus, thank you for this food. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Let me see your plate. And my daughter, the carnivore. I like hunting. So right now, I'm prepping some of last year's deer while dreaming about this year's deer just outside my window.